dust arose around them. They rode easy and slouched, warming sunlight upon their backs. Then they halted and watched the cattle squeeze past the gate. The foremost man, grizzled in an old Cheyenne-tanned riding coat of nearly knee-length buckskin, worn and stained, looped his reins, stuffed a little pipe, jammed it between his teeth, and lit it. The smoke rose up and hung unmoving above his head. When the last critter was through the gate, the other riders converged on him. They were younger men, alike in sinewy lankness. One wore a pistol with an ivory handle. He also had silver conchos on his saddle. The others did not. Their guns were hard rubber-butted, and their conchos were plain serrated leather. Before they were together, the last man raised his head, hesitated a moment, then spoke. "Someone's coming. Yonder there, to the south." Each head swung, and each face opened with quick interest. The grizzled man puffed a moment, removed the pipe, and spat. "Where's the other two?" he asked of no one in particular. The rider came up fast. Long before he was close, they could sense his urgency. "Something went wrong," the older man said, a knife-edged sharpness coming into his voice. Without a word, they all rode toward the newcomer, passing the ranch house, the barn, bunkhouse, and a paralleling length of the stone fence on their right. "It's Dade Simpson." The grizzled man's pipe was cold in his mouth. He removed it, knocked it empty on the saddle horn, and pocketed it. When the rider slid down to a spewing halt before them, he said, "They got him, Paxton. Got him where the canyon comes out onto the prairie." There was a heavy, long interval of silence. Then Paxton Clement spoke past lips that scarcely moved. "Does your pa know, Dade?" "He knows. He was with our riders when they found him." Dade looked at the four motionless men before him. "They were hid in the rocks. When Clinton, Pete, and Asa came out of the pass, they were waiting." "It wasn't no fight?" Dade shook his head. "All the shooting was done by the sheepmen. Our boys never got off a shot. Asa's horse and Pete's horse are loose somewhere on the range. Clint's horse is lying half atop him." Paxton Clement looked as dark as thunder. His pale eyes were terrible to see, but strangely his voice did not change from its knife-edged quietness. "All right, Dade," he said. "You tell your pa to get the others together and meet me at the canyon in a couple hours. Bring spades." Ezekiel Gorman was as tall as his father, old Uriah, but much heavier. At 30 years of age, Ezekiel was no paradox. He was the best rifle shot among the sheepmen. He was taciturn, massive, gray-eyed, and shockle-headed like the old man. He was also as knife-lipped and uncompromising. Zeke's brother, Robert Edward Lee Gorman, called Lee, was quiet like Zeke. He was only 25 to Zeke's 30 years. He was also different in other ways, not only in the expression of his face, which was full-lipped and thoughtful, but in the way he shrank from violence. Lee could outwork a horse at planting time. He could outwork 2 men at the hardest labor, at the shearing pens, during lambing season, at the dipping vats. But he was nearly useless in the face of this gathering storm for survival that had split the free graze men of Wyoming, the cowmen and sheepmen. He stood with Zeke now, behind their father, listening to the talk of a swarthy, squat man wearing a stocking cap, fingers scrabbling along the seams of his trousers, eyes looking far out and lips lying closed with bitter pressure, corners pulled down. "I was hid, like you said," the dark man was saying, liquid dark eyes fixed in fascination upon the gaunt old man standing like stone before him, like a prophet of old. "I saw 'em coming and watched. It was Charlie Simpson's crew from C-Bar S, with 6 of 'em. They came up and stopped and sat there for a minute just looking down." "And?" the old man prompted. "They dragged 'em together and covered 'em with their slickers. Simpson sent 4 riders."